Lewis Hamilton didn't pull any punches after Jeddah. Right after the race, the 7-time world champion sounded more irritated than he's been in a long time. "I didn't enjoy it. It was horrible," he admitted. And no, he wasn't complaining about tire degradation or traffic. On the other side of the garage, Charles Leclerc was chilling on the podium like it was a walk in the park. So, is this just a rough start for Hamilton? Or is his big red chapter already unraveling? Let's clear the air. Lewis Hamilton is far from finished. This is the guy who's danced through chaos in wet Hungary, outsmarted Verstappen at Silverstone, and turned title races into nightmares for rivals. But in Jeddah, he looked like a guest who showed up at the wrong party. And his comments weren't vague either. He said, "It was horrible. I didn't enjoy it. There was nothing positive about the race. This wasn't just a one-off bad day. This was a serious reality check. The car just wouldn't play along, no matter what tweaks or setup changes were made." Hamilton described the SF25 like it had a personality of its own, one that didn't want anything to do with him. And that's despite him throwing every adjustment he could at it. "I literally tried everything. The car just didn't want to work with me," he said. Now picture that. You're Lewis Hamilton, a driver used to machines that move with your instincts, and suddenly you're stuck with a car that feels like a stubborn therapy patient at 200 miles per hour. Meanwhile, Leclerc is out there making the same machine look divine, which tells you this isn't entirely a car issue. Or at least, not only that. So what's really going wrong? The SF25 is a strange beast. One weekend it's setting poles, and the next it's ignoring Hamilton like a Tinder match gone cold. And that's the kicker no one wants to talk about. This Ferrari isn't slow, it's temperamental. And that's almost worse. If a car is flat out bad, at least you know what you're working with. You adjust, develop, grind. But if it's inconsistent, if it responds to one driver but ghosts the other, it messes with your head. Leclerc is scoring podiums while Hamilton is leaving the track emotionally drained. And Ferrari's engineers? They're taking notes like therapists jotting down symptoms, even though they know the treatment might not help. Hamilton said the car would behave differently in the exact same spot on the track, every time. That's not constructive feedback. That's a warning sign. This isn't about skill or experience. It's about compatibility. The connection between Hamilton and this car is just not there. And not for lack of trying. He's adjusted setups, strategies, everything. But if the car won't dance, it doesn't matter how good your moves are. What makes this worse is that everyone in the paddock knows this Ferrari is fast. They've seen Leclerc prove it. They've seen it in qualifying. So when Hamilton has a bad weekend, it's no longer viewed as a car issue. It becomes a character judgment. People start whispering, is he not adapting? Has he lost the spark? Was this car ever meant for him? It's hard to ignore because the evidence is piling up. And that's the part that really hurts. Maybe this isn't just growing pains. 2 races in, you can call it teething problems. 3 or 4, it starts to look like a trend. Hamilton isn't syncing with the car, and the car isn't making any effort to meet him halfway. And in Formula One, time is a luxury nobody gets. There's no grace period for bonding. The season just keeps moving. Remember, this was supposed to be the comeback arc. A racing legend leaving Mercedes, choosing unpredictability over comfort, and rising again in scarlet red. That was the story we all wanted. But right now, it's reading more like a cautionary tale than a triumph. Even when he seems composed in interviews, there's a new edge in his tone. The guy who once broke down a loss with calm analysis now sounds like he's trying to convince himself everything's fine. Spoiler alert, it's not fine. When a driver of Hamilton's caliber says there was nothing positive in a race, that's not critique, that's a distress signal. This isn't about results anymore. It's about identity. About being in a machine that refuses to mirror the driver inside. So maybe this is the new reality. At least for now, a 7-time champion trapped in a car that doesn't get him, watching his younger teammate unlock performance from the same machinery. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. And it's the opposite of the classic Ferrari hero story. But here's the thing. Nothing stays the same for long in F1. Sometimes you fix the car. Sometimes the car teaches you something. And sometimes you realize you're just not in the right story. By now, we've ticked off the usual suspects. Setup mismatches? Probably. Driving style differences? Likely. Pressure? Always. But if you zoom out, listen closely to Hamilton's post-race reflections, and study his onboards, it's about something deeper. This isn't just about lap times. It's about trust. To push an F1 car to the edge, you need to believe in it. You brake late not because you're careless, but because you know it'll stick. You commit to corners because the car gives you feedback, confidence. That's what's missing. Every lap Hamilton takes, there's a slight hesitation. A small lift where there should be throttle. A flicker of doubt in the braking zone. Not because he's lost the edge, but because he doesn't trust this car yet. The SF25 doesn't communicate with him the way the Mercedes did. It doesn't answer back, it sulks. And as if that weren't enough, he's also learning a brand new language, new systems, new engineers, new team culture. Even for someone as experienced as Hamilton, that takes time. But Ferrari isn't known for giving time. While he's still figuring things out, Leclerc is out there driving like he designed the SF25. Which brings us to the hardest truth. Sometimes it's not what's wrong with you. It's what's already working for someone else. Leclerc isn't the problem. He's fast, composed, and completely bought into the Ferrari mission. He doesn't just drive for Ferrari, he is Ferrari. And that's what complicates everything for Hamilton. Leclerc has weathered the team's storms. He's been through the strategy errors, the rebuilding years, and he's earned their trust. Whether intentionally or not, the team has shaped itself around him. And that makes things harder for Hamilton. Every tough session, every debrief where Charles felt something different, is a subtle reminder. This isn't his team yet. It doesn't matter how many trophies he brings. Ferrari still orbits around Leclerc. You can feel it in the way engineers speak, in the car setups, in the vibe of the garage. It's not favoritism. It's history and familiarity. And that's the most frustrating thing, stepping into a place where someone else already fits perfectly. Especially when you're Lewis Hamilton. Especially when you came not to play backup, but to rewrite history. But Ferrari doesn't bend to drivers. Drivers bend to Ferrari. That's the legend. That's also the curse. And right now, Hamilton's still trying to find his place in the shadow of a driver who's already part of the furniture. This isn't about rivalry or jealousy. It's about the dawning realization that, to thrive here, it's not enough to be great. You have to belong. And Leclerc? He built this house. Now here's the thing. This season was never just about this season. From the moment Hamilton signed, all eyes locked onto 2025. That's the real beginning. 2024 was always going to be the messy transition, the awkward adjustment, the phase where nothing quite fits. But next year, that's when the lights truly go out. New regulations, new car concepts, a fresh slate. That's when we'll learn if this Ferrari-Hamilton partnership is built to win, or if it was just a beautifully ambitious experiment. Right now, it's not about title battles. It's about laying the groundwork, building the kind of understanding that wins championships later. Hamilton learning the car's language. Ferrari figuring out what he needs before he says it. They're not fluent yet, but if they get there, it changes everything. Because Hamilton didn't come here to collect checks. He didn't come to pad his stats or ride into retirement in red. He came to fight, to win. And if Ferrari can give him a car that doesn't just respond, but sings, then 2025 becomes a problem for everyone else. But if not, if the car stays twitchy, the strategies remain suspect, and the internal politics keep whispering, then this won't be a love story. It'll be a warning. Ferrari took a gamble on a legend. Hamilton bet on emotion. 2025 is when we find out if that risk pays off, or if it's just a slow, expensive heartbreak. Because Ferrari doesn't just carry legacy, it carries mythology. And when Lewis Hamilton signed that contract, he wasn't just changing teams. He was stepping into something ancient, a machine powered by dreams and crushed under pressure. So far, it's been rocky. Maybe that's how it has to be. But here's what makes it all worth watching. Hamilton still believes. In himself. In the red suit. In the idea that even flawed machines can become masterpieces when the right driver is behind the wheel. And whether it works or not, the fact that he's still here, still fighting, still reaching for something better, that's as Ferrari as it gets.